Hi, fourth graders. We're going to go through the vocabulary for chapter 3. The first one is eyewitness, which is a person who has seen something happen and is able to describe it. In this picture, this woman, I think somebody stole her purse, and she was an eyewitness because she saw it happen, and she is looking to see which person it was. In your book, it is on page 22, and it says that the Italian writer Francesco Petrarch penned the following eyewitness account of the Middle Ages. So he saw what happened in the Middle Ages and gave an account. The next word is experiment, which we love to do in science, don't we? And it is a scientific test to try out something in order to learn about it. It's on page 24 in your book. And it says, try a little experiment, extend your arms out, and it's to do an experiment like with an earthquake. We know a lot about experiments. The next one is fault, a crack in Earth's crust, and it's on page 24. And we've learned a lot about the fault and how that is involved with an earthquake. Next one is heave, and it's a verb. Sorry, I didn't tell you the other ones were nouns. And this is two definitions. One is to move up and down, over and over, or two, to lift, pull, push, or throw with a lot of effort. And you can see these ants are trying to pull that apple. They're trying to heave it. And this is also on page 24, and it says seismic waves make the ground heave and shake. This violent shaking is what we call an earthquake. So it means the violent shaking, the over and over. Trigger, not like on a gun, but this one is to cause something to start or happen. And this was interesting. I found this, and it said that the sun-moon alignment can trigger huge earthquakes. When there's a full moon and a new moon, high tides and low tides are at their most extreme, and huge changes in the tides accelerate movements along a fault and increase the probability of earthquakes. I did not know that, but I thought that was very interesting. And your trigger is on page 25, and it says pressure slowly builds. It's when the plates get stuck, and pressure slowly builds, and they're stuck, and then they slip, and they trigger an earthquake. Pinpoint. This is a verb, and it's to figure out the exact location of something. Well, right here we are finding the exact location of the earthquake epicenter. And pinpoint is on page 27, and they use seismographs to pinpoint the earthquake's epicenter. Magnitude, and that is a noun, and that is the earthquake's strength. And I thought this was interesting because it shows you number of earthquakes per year and then the strength, 10. And this is, I guess, the maximum. And so it shows you different ones from around the world and their different strengths. That's on page 28. Aftershock is a noun, and it's a smaller, weaker earthquake that often follows a main earthquake event. I liked this picture because, the main earthquake has just huge shaking, and then the aftershock has the smaller ripple effect. And that's on page 29. And the earthquakes are often followed by aftershocks, which can also be very dangerous. A tsunami is a noun, and it's the gigantic wave of seawater caused by an earthquake in the oceanic crust. And we've talked a lot about that, and it's on page 30 in your book. A surge is a verb, and it means to move forward quickly, suddenly, and with force. And in the book, we're talking about the storm surge, as you can see here, and it moves far inland, which means inland, towards land. So you can, I thought this was a great picture to show, like the tsunami. This is also showing like a hurricane that has a storm surge, but a tsunami, the storm surge moves inland. And that's it for vocabulary for chapter 3.